What's going on, everybody? This is Matt Marinoff, Real Estate Recovery Group. My guest is going to be on in a couple of minutes, running a couple of minutes behind. Pam Spencer from Raleigh, North Carolina. And I wanted to maybe just do a little bit of an intro before she comes in. Pam is actually originally from Houston, Texas. She now resides in Raleigh, North Carolina. She ran a full-time horse training business for over 20 years. In 2017, she had a disease that rapidly ran through her training facility, which immediately, quarantined for over 4 months. It instantly devastated her business and her income. She had no idea what she was going to do. So, Pam had seen an ad on Facebook, and I guess she attended a seminar in Raleigh, and she learned basically how to invest in real estate with little or none of her own money. And as she says, the rest is history. So we're waiting for Pam to come on. I've got my questions all ready for her, so hopefully she'll jump on in a couple of minutes. But I wanted to bounce up real quick and tell everybody I'm happy with the way everything's been going with the lives that we've been doing. We've gotten a tremendous amount of feedback. We've been getting newer real estate agents that have reached out to us and asking us what our thoughts are on the market, obviously regarding COVID-19, and trying to, figure out what the latest and the greatest is going to be in the coming months. So Pam will be on in a couple of minutes, and then we can start talking shop with her. I'm excited for this because, guys, as you know, I'm not really a firm believer or a supporter of people that are doing wholesaling. People are doing wholesaling the wrong way. They're not doing it the correct way. So she's on, but she's not. Hold on. Go into the link I sent you. Pam, I emailed you a link last night. I need you to go to that link. Apparently she's on Facebook, but she's actually not in the actual chat itself with the StreamYard. Click on the link that I gave you. It's going to say go on to Facebook or to go on to YouTube. Hit Facebook, type your name in. You'll come into the back office of this site, and then I'll click on it, and then I'll bring you on, and the rest will be history. So hopefully Pam will be able to get on and join us. I'm a little concerned why she is not on yet. Let's see what we can do here. Hold on one sec. Guys, don't go anywhere. Let's see if I can send it out to her again. Sending again. Great. Guys, bear with me. I do apologize. I did not realize that this was going to be an issue as far as getting her on. This is why it's so important to get everybody on and get my guests on 15 minutes prior to. This way we don't have any issues, any concerns, anything happening as far as, not being able to get on. So I just resent it. Again. Junk mail. And hopefully we'll get her on and then we'll be able to talk shop. It's pretty impressive that somebody would be in an industry and be working with horses and then, get into real estate. So you never know where you're going to end up in the real estate industry. You never know where you're going to start. Earlier in the week, I had a guest on. He's a nurse. His partner is a physical therapist. And we're having various different people from all walks of life that are going to be coming on. If you feel that you have something that you want to add as far as, moving forward and offering services to people, and coming on and talking about the type of company that you're in and or trying to work on. Hold on, here comes Pam right now. Here she is, ladies and gentlemen, Pam Spencer. Can you hear me?
Getting feedback here. Oh, wait. I think I know why.
Pam, thanks so much for joining.
Okay. I got it.
Great. Thanks so much for joining me, Pam.
Glad to be here.
Outstanding. So I did a little bit of the intro that you were in, horse training for 20 plus years. 2017, you had some devastation there. You had a disease that, ran through your training facility and basically made the business halt. Pam, why don't you tell people a little bit about yourself and the type of, experience, where you've come from, and tell your story, how you got into real estate.
Well, I did run my own business for over 20 years, so at least I had work ethic already established, and have always been an entrepreneur. The last job I had was in, I think, 1996, and I was fired from that one. So I decided that I would never give another person that kind of control over my life. And, if I was going to fail, I would fail on my own. No one would have, permission to fire me but me. So I went into a few different businesses, some MLMs. I was very good at it. From a company that I worked at, I learned a lot of managerial management skills. I was in management, and that's carried over. Also, just people skills. It helps that I like people. So after this very contagious disease ran through the barn, boy, I love horse training. I've always been natural with animals, love them. Enjoyed what I did. I was getting to the age where I was fearful of how I was ever going to retire. And it's such a physical business. You can't do it forever, especially as a woman. You just can't. I mean, you can, but you're going to pay dearly for it. I just didn't see retirement in my future, but I had no idea what I wanted to do. Real estate had been in the back of my mind throughout the years. As far as being a realtor, I didn't really know that there was another side of it that I could participate in. So real estate always resonated with me for some reason. I just liked it. So I had gone to this seminar, that runs through town, Make Money in Real Estate, No Money Down. Of course, it's a mentorship program that wants $100,000 of your money to join at the top tiers. And that wasn't going to happen. That couldn't happen. They really tried to squeeze every dime they could out of me. I mean, they try to get you to sell. There was a farmer in the class. They tried to get him to sell some cows, anything, beg, borrow, and steal from your family. I mean, really, I don't even exaggerate. So I'm not fond of that. The rolling, mentorship programs that seem to roll through cities on a regular basis, but it did get me interested, and I knew this was for me. I didn't know how I was going to do it, had no money, but I was going to find a way. I did know when you want something bad enough, you find a way. So what I did was spend that winter literally on YouTube. I call it YouTube U, because that's all I could afford, and learned real estate, learned the business, learned about flipping, watched a ton of those, just learned a little bit about every aspect of the business. So what I thought I would do, my plan was to start in wholesaling, because I thought that would be a stepping stone to other things I might want to do. So that's what I started to focus on, and started to focus on finding properties, and did a lot of driving around. I joined our RIA here, and I can remember very well that it was very difficult for me to even have because it was clear across town. It took me an hour to get there, to have the gas money to even go. So I did the best I could, and went to the RIAs, started networking. I am a networker. I'm not afraid of people, not afraid to talk to people. So I would just start talking to investors. I thought, you got to find some buyers. So that's what I did. I started collecting a buyer's list and driving around, driving for dollars, as they say. So my first property was a for sale by owner. didn't really, I guess I did know what I was doing by then. It'd been 3 months. I mean, I'm a researcher anyway. I don't like this, what I hear taught, just go out and do it because you can, you're messing with someone's life. That is, selling a house is really, one of the biggest things somebody will do in their life. It's very, very important to them. And to misrepresent yourself and just go and, BS your way through it, I am not a proponent for that. I don't support that at all. So I ended up being with a flipper who was a buyer, but this just wasn't going to be for him. So he kind of helped me through the whole process and got my first deal, made I think $3,700 on it, and put that right back into the business. So that's how I started. That's my story, and that was in my first deal was April of 2017.
So 2017, you started in the industry. You got a leg up from somebody. You had said that you went to, one of these events, and I know the type of events that you're talking about. Let's roll it back a little bit. Let's go back to how you got connected with me. Basically, how you met me and what you saw in, I guess, basically, what I do and how I'm doing it. How did you find out about Real Estate Recovery Group and myself?
Great question. I tried to learn every aspect of the business. And one of the things I would do is go to the courthouse and go through the foreclosures because one of the things that really, really struck me and resonated with me in the seminar was helping people out of foreclosure, saving their home, giving them equity and all of that. So that's really what I focused on. And to my great surprise, people are not as open to talking to me as I thought they would be. But that's because they have hundreds of people calling them, sending them postcards and everything else. Well, I found one that, and I had several foreclosure deals, but I found that I was having to I felt helpless to help those that already had owed too much on their mortgage. And I found a lady that was just really wanting help. And I just happened upon you on Facebook and thought, wow, they can help me. So I called and you guys, you were right from the start. You were very accessible, very helpful. I loved what you do. I loved the people before profit. I thought that's what attracted me initially. And I thought if anyone can help these guys, it's them. It didn't turn out to be, and you guys did a lot of work on this, and it didn't turn out to be she just in the end wanted to keep her house, and I think she's still struggling, and it may come through eventually. But that's how I discovered you, and then I thought I need to learn about this. I need to learn about short sales because I just didn't quite understand the dynamics and how to go about it. I came to New Jersey and took your class, which was amazing. What I learned from the class, what I came away with was I found the experts. I'm not going to be that expert. So that's how I met you guys, and that's where I am with it. You guys will be handling my short sales.
So basically, you came from North Carolina to New Jersey to learn from myself and obviously Leah.
Yeah.
So you've gone to our workshop and you came to our reboot and you went to our master class, correct?
Correct.
Can you give any advice to anybody that's out there right now that might feel that, maybe this isn't for me? Maybe, I know short sales are going to be huge again, but I've always stayed away from it. What would you say to somebody who's hesitant about actually getting involved in distressed real estate short sales?
My hesitancy was it just seemed so foreign, and I didn't understand how it would work. I didn't understand how it would actually help someone. I just didn't understand enough about it. Short sales are so people, everyone in real estate needs to be doing short sales. And if it's too complicated for you to comprehend, go to these guys because you absolutely can help a lot of people. However, if you're a flipper, you can also have just huge margins in short sales. It's just it's lack of education if you're not doing it, because I think short sales, and we are going to have a flood of short sales coming. It's coming with these foreclosures. And if you're not doing them, you need to be, because you're leaving a lot of money on the table. Not only can you help other people with this, where they don't have to go through a foreclosure and have that on their credit, that's huge, and it's going to be huge in the future. But you can also make money at the same time. So, and the margins are big. I mean, it would have been huge on this house had it gone through.
So you basically shied away from short sales, and typically your weapon of choice is wholesaling properties, correct?
It is. I just have stuck with it because it's just, I like it. I like it. You know, I hear flippers, I see what they go through, um, and landlords and what they go through. And right now, because I'm doing very well at it, and I'm gonna stay here for a while.
How did you make a jump from being horse training into getting into real estate? Was it a sense of urgency that you had to provide for yourself? You said it was something that you wanted to do, right? You said that it interested you. Was it because you basically got pushed out of the industry and you were looking for a lifeline?
I needed to push out of that industry. That was a blessing in disguise, as miserable and horrible and scary as that winter was. Um, And real estate, again, I think the people who do the best in real estate love real estate. So it was, God just put it in my lap. He said, "This is what you're going to do, this right here." Because
Mhm.
I was so excited after hearing all of the aspects of real estate. I had no idea there were so many things you could do as an investor or to
Yeah.
make money in real estate, especially when you didn't have any money and your credit sucked. So my credit's good now. I've worked on the credit, and I suggest everyone does that.
Mhm.
Um, but and wholesaling, yes. Now wholesaling, I had a real issue with as far as integrity, because what I was seeing was a lot of again, your gurus telling people that just go out and do it. Don't worry, just go get a property. Um, and other very, you know, very low life techniques that
Mhm.
they are teaching out there. So I had a problem with, how am I going to fit in with this? How am I going to do this with integrity?
Mhm.
Um, and so anyway, I've gotten it down to a group of investors that pretty much I don't. It's very, very rare I will send a property out to my 500 name list. And if I do, the homeowner knows I'm doing that, because the numbers are too tight or this or that or whatever the situation is. But they know up front that I'm the house finder within this group. So, I'm not having to, um, I guess I don't know any other way to put it, but lie or be deceptive about what I'm doing.
Well, the reason why I wanted you to come on, and let's call it what it is. I asked you to come on, and you said you don't like wholesalers. I actually despise wholesalers, but
I know.
your methods are different, which is important. And you have a group of investors that you work with only, as you said. You could go outside, but you don't have to. And you mentioned you did 500. I love when people are like, "Oh, I got a list of 10,000 people, 10,000 investors." If you got a list of 10,000 investors and you got to market to 10,000 investors and you have a specific niche in a certain area, you're not doing something right.
Yeah.
I don't think 500 is far-fetched based on an area where you're in. I mean, look, at a moment's notice, if a deal falls through, and because of COVID-19, it actually shook out a lot of the newer investors that were shaken.
Hmm.
We'll just, make 2 or 3 phone calls and say, "Hey, this is the listing agent. Contact the listing agent direct, and let's try to make this thing happen." So fallout isn't necessarily a bad thing, because you learn early on who you can rely on, who you can't. The newer investors that might not be cashed up, or they've invested all their money in watches and cars, and to play the role, they just don't have the bank account. I mean, one of my friends put a transmission in his Hyundai, and he's a multi millionaire. So everybody has different perspectives. So you could fake it till you make it. You could just fake it, or you could make it and not have to worry about faking it. So there's really a couple of different things. So, for me, you had mentioned you have a group of investors that you work with. Obviously, that's very important. I guess the reason why, or what attracted you to wholesaling, was the fact that you didn't really have to worry about the down payment money necessarily. You wouldn't have to worry about putting $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 down. When you're doing something and you're working on a deal, do you have any skin in the game at all?
Well, that's a great question. What I did also, I didn't only network with investors. I networked with money lenders, and that's another reason I got my credit up. Because I fully intend to close on something that an investor can't. That's why I've learned the flipping side. I do have contractors that I can use.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely will close on everything. I will not just let a contract go
Mm-hmm.
because the flipper backed out at the last minute.
Right.
Um, and I have had someone early on. I had someone back out 2 hours before closing. She's no longer on the list.
Oh, really?
But that was devastating, and I didn't have that lined up at that time. So it was a lesson, and I use everything that is negative that happens as a lesson to get better, to be prepared for that. And I've watched some terrible things happen, but I think as a wholesaler, you have to be able to close on a property if you need to. If you cannot close, you shouldn't be doing it, period. So, because these people are counting on you. They are counting on you to close. They have moved their whole and rearranged their whole life around this closing. They've got plans for that money. And, you can't do that to somebody. So, yeah,
I appreciate you coming on and telling your story because, as you know, how I feel about the wholesale industry itself.
and
You
there's
know,
a good reason for it.
well, because there's no barrier to entry. It's like you got a heartbeat, and you can talk. You can talk the talk, but it doesn't mean you're going to do the walk. They're selling people literally a bag of shit, and hopefully the bag of shit is lined with a plastic bag inside that's sealed. But do you really want to take that chance? And so I have had wholesalers reach out to me and basically say, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to work it. And this is your role to me. And I said, well, this is how I'm going to work it. Okay? I'm going to block your number. And I hope to never effing hear from you again because I don't work for you. And if I ever choose to work with somebody, we work together as a team. I don't look at people as competition. I look at people as opportunity. You, my friend, are a scumbag. And I have no problem saying that to people. And I think people are worried about what other people think of them. You've seen me speak privately, intimately to 35, 40 people. So you really know the fall on Matt Marinoff. Whereas I am a pussycat. I love everybody. I think sometimes people mistake the fact that I'm kind and take kindness for weakness. And in this industry, I'm not willing to work with somebody that's literally not willing to put their balls on the table. Now, for you, obviously, it's a metaphor. But you just said that if the person's not going to close, it's a good deal. You will close, and that's truly so important in this industry. And I've had wholesalers that want to come on. I chased you to have you come on here because I want people to understand that there are people out there that are doing the right thing. So I just want to throw this up there really quick. If people want to reach out to Pam directly, she does prefer email, but I'm going to throw her cell number on there anyway because it's on her business card. And if she didn't want anybody to call her, you would put your phone number on it. So if you guys want to reach out to Pam Spencer and you're in the North Carolina area, Raleigh, North Carolina, her number is 919-495-0596. Again, it's 919-495-0596. Now, if you get anything off of this and you get a deal and you make a lot of money, outstanding. I don't want anything. This is my give back to people, and the reason why I'm doing the lives, now we're doing them Tuesday through Thursday, is because people need to know that there are other people out there that are caring, that want to help. Pam, what if somebody reaches out to you and says, Pam, I don't really know a lot about wholesaling. Will you mentor me? Would you mentor somebody?
I'll help someone through a deal, and I'll JV with them through a deal, joint venture. As far as being a mentor, I'd run this business myself. I have 3 hired VAs that work for me full time, and another lady in acquisitions that helps me. But I really don't have the time to mentor. There's so much mentorship on YouTube. Just search it on YouTube. You've got all the information you need. But if you have a deal, or you find a deal, and you would like me to help you through to closing, I will do that. I'll do that. I'll talk to the person. We can joint venture on something. Absolutely.
So
I think most people, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Most people in wholesaling are like me. They're kind of doing it by themselves. Some want to go full force and make $1 million a year, whatever. To me, in where I am in my life, it would give me no life to do that. Right now, I get to take off when I want, travel when I want, work if I want, not work if I don't want. I mean, it's freedom for me. Yet I make a strong 6-figure income.
Right.
So do it yourself, but for me to reach this level, it took money. So I had to put every dime back into the business.
Right.
And I would say my expenses my first year were very close. They were enormous because I took this seminar, that seminar, went to this, conference, that conference, bought this course, lots and lots and lots in marketing to know what works, what didn't for me, for my area.
Right.
It's enormously expensive. So for one of the things, I think one of the questions I had you ask me is, what's the biggest lie out there as far as the gurus? And that's that it doesn't take any money to do this.
Mm-hmm.
It's correct it doesn't take any money to get your first deal. It does, because again, you've got gas, you've got expenses, you've got programs you're paying for, subscriptions you're paying for monthly. You do need money. And to continue and get deals enough to make a living, yeah, it's expensive. You have to have marketing. So that's a lie, an outright lie. In fact, it's very expensive. Very expensive. So the biggest lie.
Got it.
And I think every flipper should wholesale. You're leaving money on the table if you're marketing and you get a lead that isn't something that you want.
Right.
You need to develop relationships with people and monetize those leads.
Right.
I'm trying to learn to monetize everything. Haven't gotten to that yet, but I'm still working on it.
Well, that's great. That's great, and I appreciate the fact that you addressed, the guru lie and how this, business works. Have I ever wholesale property? Yes. Have I done a wholesale property this year? Yes. So
Everyone does. You should.
anybody that doesn't do it and they don't understand how to do it, they should get a mentor. They should invest some type of training. What cracks me up is real estate agents, and I could say it because my wife's a real estate agent, is that, can I get CT credit? Can I get credit for this class? And I think that because by nature, the majority of people that become real estate agents, they have a 9-to-5 mentality. And because they have that 9-to-5 mentality, they're looking for a paycheck. The agents that have the entrepreneur bug and see that it's not a 9-to-5 and either come from a different business background or come from a background to understand. And this is a very simple concept, and I'm going to put it out there for people. And this is a tremendous learning lesson, right? You gotta spend money to make money.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't spend money, if you can't spend any money to make money, you're going to be in a very vicious cycle. And because of that cycle, there are people out there that are really full of shit in this industry, and they call themselves gurus. I look at myself as a leader, not a guru. I put my pants on the same way everybody else does, primarily. And it's important that everybody understands that if you are not true to yourself and follow through with that, when you're talking people that are in trouble, they're going to see through it. They're going to hear the desperation. They're going to feel the desperation. And if you're a real estate agent and you're going after people, they're going to feel the commission breath against their face. You know, my friend Jen Romero always talks about, commission breath. She claims she never made it up, but I've never heard anybody else say it. So I refer to her because she talks about it all the time. So that's important. So let's talk a little bit about, what would you recommend the best source as far as leads, where flippers, basically can find deals, or how do you market to them?
I think the highest profit deals so far that I've come across are some of your foreclosures. So I would go, if you don't have a source you can pay for those. I like going to the courthouse, and at our courthouse we have a book, and it's just page after page after page of notice of defaults.
Right.
And I literally take my cell phone and put it over that and flip the pages and just go back through it later and see which ones I want. But there's a lot of people out there that need help, and I think that combined with the short sales, honestly, is probably a huge profit for people. And it's so overlooked, especially the ones that owe too much on their mortgage are the ones that are overlooked. And I really think that's a shame.
Right.
So I think those are your most profitable deals. And that takes a little work. Some people hire people to go and do that, which, I'm not opposed to doing it. I just haven't found anyone to do that for me. And I actually enjoy it. I like going to the courthouse and messing around and going through probates and things like that. Probates are pretty profitable too.
Mm-hmm.
There are people that have inherited properties that they have no idea what they're going to do with because they're in such
Right.
horrible shape. Yeah, and another source that I have these little business cards printed up, and on the back of it talks about what kind of properties I look for, tax delinquent, probate, foreclosure, whatever. And I have $1,000 marketing fee or finder's fee, or $1,000 fee. If I think I do call it a finder's fee, which I probably need to correct, but to find me a property that we close on. So, and I'll hand them out to fast food people through the drive-through. I have rundown mail people, mail carriers, and tell them what I do and say, hey, if you find something that's vacant.
Yeah, they're the best. People that work for the town. Think about it. Who knows about a property that's in distress before anybody else? Do you know the answer to that?
Mail carriers, right? Because they see properties all the time. Who?
Take another guess and I'll tell you.
Okay. Properties in distress more than anyone else. Well, your probate lawyers? I don't know. What, Matt?
Utilities.
Oh, utilities. Yeah. I haven't used that one yet, but I hear about the utilities.
So the utilities are huge because people are in distress. The first thing that people start defaulting on are what? Their utilities. Mm-hmm. Even before credit cards. Because utilities, to me, like I don't, and that's probably bad. I don't take utilities serious, and I probably should take utilities serious because obviously, I got a full house over here, and it's a luxury to have air conditioning, to have lighting on, and stuff like that. So I tell people, they should think about, flagging down a PSC&G guy, flag down, the
water shutoff guy. Yeah.
Water shutoff guy.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good point.
And you don't have to work so many different towns, right? You could have a specific town that that you work in, and you'll get plentiful deals. Look, I have a property now. I've been doing this a long time, So, I'll reach out to specific people. I'll say, hey, can you do me a favor? Let me know. Well, first, what type of coffee you drinking lately? Where are you going to be later on? Here's an address. Do me a favor. Pull up some information on it. Call me back, and we'll meet up later. But what kind of coffee are you drinking these days? And they tell me, right? Nothing illegal
Right.
about it. I'm not saying who my source is.
Yeah.
And I give them a gift card. It is what it is. It's my way of saying, hey, happy spring, or today's congratulations, it's happy Monday, or whatever day it is. So there's creative ways of doing it, but people are so afraid to work outside the box, and they have that 9 to 5 mentality. And I've never had a 9 to 5 mentality. Matter of fact, I used to work 9 to 5 jobs, and I'd fall asleep pretty much at my desk out of boredom.
Yeah.
So, people fight to work a 40-hour work week, but they'll work an 80-hour work week because to them it's not work, it's fun. And I think once people realize that, it'll make a difference. So, finding the leads, the lead sources, being able to work with people, they're out there. I just think people in general are very lazy.
Mhm.
And I think that, across the board, there's an issue, or there's major issues with how people feel what's right and what's wrong. Some people actually think short sales are bad. They think that they're, uh, uh, illegal. They don't understand the concept that a bank is owed 500,000, but the property sells for 250. Oh my God, you're screwing the bank over. If you
They
understand,
need to take your course. Everyone needs to take your course. Everyone needs to come visit and sign up for one of your courses, for one of your seminars.
well, no, I appreciate that. I think it's
It's
important.
true.
No, I appreciate it, and then I appreciate the fact that you came from North Carolina to come up, to do it, and to learn from it. And I think, now that I've reached out to you, when you and I actually had a talk, and I talked a little bit off the ledge as far as, I don't mind working with people that understand what they're doing in the industry. You know what you're doing, so if you're not going to close on it, when you have somebody, they're not going to close at it. I know you're a closer, but you don't want, there's so many people out there that have this mentality of faking it until you make it. You cannot fake it till you make it with distressed real estate. So
It's really giving wholesaling it's really concerning to me because I'm running into more and more, much more than I did in the beginning. Occasionally, I'd run into someone who had been under contract and they didn't close. Now I probably 1 out of 10, or 1 out of 10, maybe even 1 out of 5 have already had that experience. And that really gives me huge obstacles to overcome in building trust because of that. So I don't know. I just really I wish it was different. I don't even like the term wholesaler. I don't think it's even appropriate for it.
I,
But
I, I think you should consider using the term that I use, which is house hunter.
mhm. Typically what I say, I'm the house hunter of the bunch,
Right.
and I literally have a solid reputation and in this industry that I'm going to keep. I intend on keeping, and I worked really hard for. But I also have a solid group of buyers. I have at least 10 that, on a regular basis, weekly. What you got? What you got? What you got? And a lot of them use their own money. I mean, they're very wealthy. Some of them flip over 100 homes a year. I have one in Charlotte flips over 200 homes a year, and so they're very strong. And a lot of them use their own money and absolutely can close. It's just an easy deal. And but I worked hard for it. I'm almost 3 years into 2.5 years into this now. And finally, after all this time, feel like I have a strong business and connections. And, I'm not going anywhere.
That's great. So if somebody is looking for properties, or if they're looking for ways to contact you, do you really prefer the email over the cell phone?
If they're going to contact me just about, no, cell phone's fine. Cell phone's fine. Yeah. But if you're just calling me for a property, to see if I have any properties, you're going to need to, you're going to have to be a strong buyer, not someone that's just beginning. I hate to say that, but because of some experiences, I have to say that. Meaning, it's been my experience they haven't been able to actually get financed when they thought they could, or they led me to believe they were already financed, and causes a lot of problems. So
So
yeah, if you want
you've
help,
seen a lot of fake proof of funds then.
fake proof of funds. Oh yes, yes, there is such a thing. No, it's yeah. I will, if you're a strong buyer, absolutely contact me and we'll talk. Um, Even if it's not in North Carolina, if you want me to put out, because I do virtual wholesaling as well. If you want me to put out some marketing in your area, and and you're willing to pay for it, yeah, we can do that.
So you're
Because
willing to so you are willing to do JVs with people.
absolutely, yeah, I've done several. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you
I will help someone that really wants to learn this business correctly and has integrity. I'll help you all day long because you're needed in this business.
all right, guys. So Pam Spencer is basically saying now, um, she has no problem working with people that are maybe learning the business, don't understand the business, want to put money into the business, but not sure where to put the money, and willing to do joint ventures. So, listen, this is for me. This is a no-brainer. I mean, I've met with Pam. She, I think, in the 1980s, I think you were a runway model for Vogue magazine.
Forgot I told you that. Seems like lifetimes ago.
So you're working with somebody who has different facets in the industry that understands what it takes to get transactions completed. So if you want to understand how wholesaling works and you want to do JV, Pam is all for it. You're not looking to mentor anybody, but you are working to work with people that want to make a difference, want to make money, understand people before profit. If you want to reach out to Pam directly, you can reach out to her. Her direct number is 919-495-0596. Again, that number is 919-495-0596. That's her cell. You could call, you could text. She does ask if you're looking for properties and you don't know exactly what you want. She does say you could email, because obviously through email she can respond, at the end of the day versus, now at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, Eastern Standard Time, we're commencing and talking to each other. Her email address is Pam Spencer, INV at gmail.com. It's Pam Spencer, INV at gmail.com. And Pam, do you have anything else that you want to add or that you want people to know about you as far as, the industry that you're in? Here's a great question for you. The industry that you're in, who dominates more, male or female?
I think we both know the answer to that. That's male dominated for sure.
And
And I think women are most of these males will admit that women have a higher closing ratio because we enjoy building rapport. And kind of taking, like, I take once I sign a contract, I still take the seller by the hand and all the way through closing. And people think, you're wasting time. I'm not wasting time. It's what I like to do. So, but also women have children and families and lots of responsibilities other than, men are generally the ones bringing in the bread. So I think that's why it might be male dominated. Males are a lot more aggressive. I'll give you an example. When COVID hit, the females generally like, oh my God, yeah, what are we going to do? Just freeze. Males are just, yeah, we got great opportunity. Let's go. Yeah, everybody's going to want to sell. So, and I put myself on hold just for a little bit because I wasn't sure what the ARVs were going to be. I didn't know what it was going to look like on the other side of this. So
right,
I did not put properties under contract for, gosh, I had a good pipeline, thankfully, because, I had several closings still lined up, but, I went on pause for a good 6 weeks until I figured this out. And a lot of our lenders paused. Some of our big lenders paused. So it was, kind of scary. So I think women are just not as aggressive maybe as men in general. Now there are some women in this business, in wholesaling in particular, and flipping, that I know that are killing it. They are making me look so small time.
Mhm.
And but I don't want a huge business because I want a life. So, and I think most of us are in that position. We want to make that strong income without having to lose any of the freedom that income is supposed to provide.
So who would you consider, in your opinion, based on what you see, right? Who do you think is a better closer, a male or a female in your industry?
Oh, the hot seat. Uh, well, I think males are in general better. I think females sometimes pull back, are afraid to ask for it. It's just, and I've had to work on that. I'm constantly learning to improve my closing skills. I follow Chris Voss and John Martinez. I love those guys, and constantly working on that. So I think I don't know. I don't know. Some people would argue with me and say, no, women aren't. And even I've had men argue with me that women are better closers. Uh, so I don't know, Matt. What do you think?
I'm actually more partial, believe it or not, towards women than men. I know some pretty aggressive women that are in real estate. Um, still to this day, Leah's been with me for 7, 8 years now.
She's awesome.
So people are like, well, let me talk to your boss, or let me talk to Matt. And then I reach out to them. It's like, listen, Leah has the authority. She knows what I like, what I don't like. And if there's an issue and something has to be, reviewed, then we'll talk about it. But I give her enough rope not to hang herself, but to move around and maneuver, because sometimes we have to be on the fly. We're doing transactions all around the United States now. So it's important. I don't want to hold her leash tight when I know that she's smart enough to make the decision. So I personally, I like women in power. I think that they can use it to their advantage. I mean, look, who wants to look at an ugly, fat, smelly guy when you can look at, a beautiful, smelly woman, whatever it is. So for me, that's my philosophy behind it. And I think that homeowners that are in distress, believe it or not, have more, or they mesh more with the women because of the distress side of it, and they need somebody who's more nurturing. Now I can get away with it because I'm the straight guy with the queer eye, so it works out okay. But I don't think most people could do it. You might even say I might be a unicorn. I might be that special person that somebody can't be because they don't understand the characteristics of how it is being special. So I would say, if I had to guess between a male and a woman, I would say the female is probably better closing in the distressed market.
Probably so.
I don't know.
Because we actually do tend to have a lot of empathy, especially me being where I've come from, and things that I've been through. I've been through a lot of stuff. I can relate to people more, and they feel it, that people know whether you're genuine or not. They do.
Right.
You cannot fake that. They
Yeah.
will pick up fake and salesy type thing. I'm not salesy. I don't try to close someone. I try to lead someone to a decision. And honest to God, I'm trying to work, if a realtor is the best thing for them. I know some rock star realtors to refer them to. And I mean, they are sharp,
Right.
make a lot of money. So if that's the best route, that's the best route. I do get a marketing fee, so to speak, from
Right.
the realtor. There is incentive, but I haven't always gotten that. I've always,
Right.
So yeah, they know if you're genuine or not. And I think that might be the thing that separates me from others maybe. But women in general, like you say, they're more empathetic. They can build rapport better. people tend to trust them maybe more.
Right.
And so you might have a good point with that about women. Yeah.
So my question to you is, learning short sales, for me, like, I have my short sale one-on-one group page set up. I'm going to start doing more video content on it. I know Leah's started to do more video content on it. This type of industry really isn't something that you could just jump into it and decide, hey, I want to do it. This is like, you have to have patience, understanding, willing to hold hand people that may or may not know what their options are. That's why I tell people, they really should understand what their options are before they're too late, because you really never know. So the page that I have, it's a private page, which is the Short Sale 101 group on Facebook. People need to answer the questions to get in. And Pam, I'm going to tell you, over the last 3 days, we've had such a spike in people that want to come onto that group. And there's 4 questions. 4 questions. They either don't answer the questions or they don't answer all 3 questions. If you don't answer a question and you don't answer all 3 questions, guess who's not getting in that group? Because I have to worry about my barrier to entry. Now, right now, I know we crossed over, or we're close to 1,400 people. We might even be over it now. I don't know. Well, let's say it's 1,300. We could easily have had right now probably about 3,000 people in the group. And I talk with other people, leaders in the industry, not gurus, leaders in the industry, and they all say the same thing: smart. Because if somebody can't listen to what you're asking them or talking to them about from the very beginning, guess what's not going to happen every other conversation you have? They're not going to pay attention. They're not going to listen.
That's right.
Listen to the instructions. So I love people like yourself that listen and want to learn. So, you learn firsthand, obviously, about the short sale side of it. I think you should really start to revisit it. Next 6 to 12 months is going to be a huge difference in the real estate community. The government is talking about the forbearance and the deferments, but they're not talking about the people that were already once behind in their mortgage. And
that forbearance, now that's extending out a few months, right? However, they're not tacking those few months on. And in most cases, I don't know of a case. Now, maybe you do because you guys deal with so many lenders. But what people are telling me is that after 3 months, all 3 months are due.
So if you're Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and Fannie Mac loans, they are working with you.
Okay.
And they're helping you work and set up payments. But what if they're not? What if they're not as regulated? They don't have to do it. So people don't realize, like, oh my God, the government's working with us. We're going to be fine. Everything's going to be great. What if it's not? What if you don't know?
Well, I just closed the deal on someone where it was not.
Well, yeah.
They aren't going to be able to pay that balloon.
Right.
So.
Well, yeah. I'm going to give you a little insight that most people don't know, right? And I'm going to throw your information up while we talk about this. Is credit cards. People are like, well, I don't have to call my credit card company. They know what's going on. Well, guess what? If you don't know what's going on and they don't know what's going on and you don't communicate with them, guess what they're doing with your credit card? They're reporting you 30 days late. Mm-hmm. Now, what they are doing, some credit card companies, up to 3 months, they're making it that you don't have to pay. So I got a phone call yesterday and they say, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you call me with my credit card company? I believe I'm 30 days late. We called the credit card company. The person gave me a one-time verbal. I spoke with the credit card company, and this is what we found out. If you're late on your credit card and you call in and you say, I've been impacted by COVID-19, they're going to make it so your payments can get deferred for 3 months where you don't have to pay it. It's going to show up on your statement every month that you're missing a payment, but they're not. They think that they're not reporting it negative to the credit card company. Here's the caveat: if you're late and you go into that deferment program, you're 30 days late, 60, 90, 120. They're going to still report you late. The key when you want to get a deferment on your credit card is make your credit card payment current. Once it's current and they have the payment and it's logged in as current, then the next 3 months that you don't make a payment, it shows current. That's scary.
Wow.
That people wouldn't know to do that or to talk
Yeah.
to you about.
Yeah.
But I'm in the distress side of the world. So I understand how to contact and talk to these people. There's been a lot of stuff, learning curve on the inside, because remember, during this whole pandemic, people have been doing what? Laid off, furloughed, right? Let go completely, whatever it is. So there was 100 people on the floor in a financial situation, financial company, right? Maybe there's only 25, 30 people doing the job of 100. So they're splitting up those chores. So you got to follow up. And if you are delinquent, find out what your options are. Get yourself current. If you feel like you're slipping and you're almost at a 30-day, but you're not, and you have to pay the late fee, screw it. Pay the late fee. Call your credit card company and see if they'll offer you. Right now, I believe some of them are offering up to 3 months, which is really great. Now, they're only doing it once. So if you're late and you do it, in the disclosure, it says, we're going to report the status on your credit bureau based on where you have been with your last payment. So I said, you're offering this, and if they go through it and they give the verbal okay, they're screwing themselves. They're better off making their payment, right? Waiting a couple of days, showing that it's current, and then they can do it. And the person on the other line, the credit card company, laughed, said, you're right.
There's always a catch, huh? I tell you, credit's the easiest thing to lose and the hardest thing to get back.
No doubt. So that's why it's so important for everybody to help everybody. That's why I'm doing these lives. I'm doing these lives Tuesday through Thursday now because I want people to understand like what is going on in the community. Like you didn't want to come on here, but I think you feel good about the fact that you did come on. I would be shocked.
Yeah.
I would be shocked if you didn't get business out of it because of the fact that you care. You're the caring wholesaler. You should use that as a marketing material thing. Like, I said, do you have any hashtags? You said, no. Hashtag caring wholesale.
I'm not a big social media person.
But that's why you don't have to. You have assistants that work for you. You have 3 or 4 people that are in your team, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You're a pretty smart lady. And I'm happy to call you a friend.
Thanks.
And
Likewise.
if you have anything that pops up and you want Lee and I to take a look at it, by all means, reach out to us. Do you have any parting words?
Well, just stay in integrity because I think we are in for some regulations if people keep going as they're going. When you say you're going to do something, do it or get some help, but follow through. As far as wholesaling, gosh, that's the part. That's the part that's leaves even the word. Some people cringe hearing it because wholesalers, by and large, have such a bad reputation. So you can do this business in integrity. You don't have to lie. You don't have to deceive. Even if you're starting out, get with somebody that's willing to help you, or just do what I did and learn for a few months until you really have it down. I would, and this is not exaggerating, I would roll out of bed in the morning, grab my coffee, go. I didn't have a desk, so I went right back to bed. And I never stopped learning until I couldn't hold my head up at night, 3 in the morning sometimes. And then I'd do it all over again. But I like to also say I did make my first $70,000 in my pajamas. And I finally bought a desk. Anyway, yeah.
That's a great title for a book. Made my first 70,000 in my PJs.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I still work in them sometimes, I'll admit.
All right. Nobody wants to hear about the lingerie. This is the wrong channel.
It's not lingerie, I promise you.
At the end of every live, I ask people if they can do the finger point. Can you do the finger point that I do? I didn't see it. Do it again. That's good. I'm not asking for you to shoot me with a gun, but it's close enough.
Oh, that. Yeah, okay. Gotta get to them.
There you go. There you go. I'm going to give you a 7 for effort. I'll give you a 7 for effort.
Yeah, not as good as you, Matt. I'll have to practice.
No worries. Leah,
Thanks for having me on.
absolutely. Leah sends her regards to you, obviously. Guys,
Yeah.
this is Pam Spencer. She's out of Raleigh, North Carolina. She is willing to JV with people, depending on the person's level of interest and how sincere they are. She's not looking to mentor people, but she is willing to help people, obviously, expand their horizons, help others, and make money. It's always people before profit. Pam Spencer's direct number you could text and call is 919-495-0596. It's 919-495-0596. Pam, thanks so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Matthew. Likewise. Y'all have a good day.
You as well.